Hi, I'm Kathryn O'Donnell from Botanicus Interior Landscaping and prunethis.com. One of the things we get asked on a daily basis is, oh, you have cuttings, can I have them? I'd like to take them home and root them, but how do I root them? So this is a video on how to root it. First of all, you have to divide the plants into two different kinds. There's herbaceous plants, which are kind of thin and floppy, and then there's woody plants, like arboricolas, variegated leaf ones, aureolias, and ficus, your famous ficus. And these two kinds root a little differently. So let's start with the most common ones, the pothos vine, oak leaf grape ivy vine, and a variegated pothos vine. All kinds of vine plants like this root the same way. The ideal way to root them is directly in soil. I've pre-mixed for you pots of peat moss and perlite. The first thing you need to do is fill up your pot with peat moss and perlite, a soilless mix that you can get in the store for houseplants. Then put it in the sink. Spray it with your sprayer or sit it in water so it can absorb as much water as it can, and then let it naturally drain. The soil will become somewhat compacted as you water it, so you want to take your fingers and fluff it up. Then the most important part is how you cut the vines. Vines root ideally in what they call an eye, which is the sprout that comes out at the leaf, and a vine. So we cut this up with our pruning shears into eye and vine sections, just like that. And we can put 10 to 15 of these. Now this section here, you see the little root nub. This is where it's going to sprout a new top, and this is where it's going to root. So you need 15 sections like this, eyes and vines, all set into your planting. So why don't I just leave it all whole? Well, if you leave it whole, the problem is that there's too many leaves and not enough roots. See, we don't have any roots. So we want to just have the vine. So we take the vine, we cut it up, and it's best to make a little hole with your fingers so you don't crush those little root nubs, and put about 15 of these little eyes and vines in a pot. All of them may not root, but if they don't, you'll still have lots of vines in the pot and it'll be full enough. This is a grape ivy, same way, little eye, little vine. Then the next thing is your woody plants. One of the most important things to do for them, if you want them to root, is you need to take off the extra leaves. Just like we did the eyes and vines with our pothos vine, we don't have any roots, so we can't have a lot of leaves. So the number one thing when you first trim it, take off 2/3 of the leaves. Then the important part is how big a cutting will root. This cutting is too big. This stem is too woody, and this won't root. So if you wanted to root some of this, you'd have to cut it to the slightly greener section and then strip off the leaves and root that. Again, you can put them direct in soil, just like this, or some people like to root in water. They actually root better in soil. Now, as far as lighting, you want them in a window, but not directly in the window, because if you have the sun shining on the leaves, it'll burn them. So just to the side. And if you really have a lot of cuttings, you could put a little tent over them. When they start to root, they'll start to grow. So as soon as the eye and vine starts to sprout or the growth starts on the top, you'll know it's rooted and it's good. Good rooting. Take care.